So here's the application that I want to deploy. Let's just take a quick look at something. Git.status. Let me add my changes here. Let's see, add environment variables, which was the last thing I did. So right now, if I end up going over here and doing git remote -v, I'm not going to see anything. That's bad, actually. I should actually have this pushed up to GitHub. But I could deploy without even pushing it up to GitHub. And one thing that I have installed on here is I'm going to deploy with Heroku. And again, there are other places you could deploy as well. One thing that I have installed, and it's fairly easy to install, is the Heroku CLI. So it's a Heroku command line tool. And one of the things that I could do is I could tell Heroku I want to create, and I'm going to call this Prof's brand new app. And by doing that, I'm going to hit enter. And it's going to end up creating this app for me. Now notice now, if I do git remote -v, I'll see that I have a remote pointing up to Heroku. And what that's going to allow me to do is actually push up to Heroku. So I'm going to say git.push, and I have to specify the remote that I want to push to. I want to push to that Heroku. And I've actually, if I go over here and I actually look for this app, I've got a lot of apps on Heroku, but I've got this brand new one that I just added. And if I try to find it here, Prof's brand new app, which is over here, I really have no activity. Nothing has been deployed on here yet, but I'm actually going to deploy it, and I'll get to see this change over here. And what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to say git push Heroku master. This is going to push up to Heroku, and what it's going to do is it's going to push up to the Heroku environment, and it's actually telling you all the things that it's doing. Well, this is a fairly simple app. There's not a ton that's going on, although we are going to have to set up our database. And so this ended up getting pushed up to Heroku. If I refresh this, I'll see that I ended up deploying it. One of the things I could also do, I could actually open this up in an app, but I could also go over here and do Heroku open, which is kind of nice. And what I'll find out is this is not quite working. And I even have a little thing that I can do here by actually going to my command line and seeing. I know what the error is, or at least I think I know what it is. And if I look at the tail here and I take a look at it, I'm going to see. So it's saying, hey, look, I don't know anything about Sequelize. I'm trying to connect to Sequelize, and really I'm trying to connect to Postgres from Sequelize, and I can't do it because you haven't set it up yet. So one of the things I can do, and this was the reason why I ended up calling this database URL, if you remember from over here, is that just by going up to Heroku, and I could do this from the command line too, but I'm going to go over here and under resources, I'm going to put an add-on, and this is going to be Postgres. So Heroku makes it pretty easy to set up Postgres. I don't want to pay for it at this point. There's some limitations here, but this is going to be fine for development. And I'm going to click on provision. And what this is going to end up doing, which is kind of interesting, first of all, it's going to restart my application. But the other thing that it does is if I go under settings, and these are my environment variables, and the reason why it says do you want to reveal these is that these are secret. You might not want to reveal these. But this is my database URL. This gets set up automatically when I end up provisioning Postgres again, and that's why I named that environment variable database URL. And at this point, I should be able to go here and actually see my application. So both my API products, and API categories, and my app itself are all deployed on Heroku. And that's how you can end up deploying an application with a Postgres backend to Heroku.